Okay, so first of all, thank you, Papo, for introducing me, and thank you everyone for attending. So before we start, I noticed this morning that when Amir asked you if there are developers here, there were many developers in the audience. I hope that this is still correct. So how many of you are developers? Yeah, still correct. It hasn't changed much. And some of you also have your own startups. So let's start with some song for all of those who have their startups. And I hope that you already...
Did I tell you about my new startup? I'm serious this time. Dude, I already bought the domain. Talk to the band, tell them it's gonna rain. Take out the ice and pop the champagne. I'm gonna be rich, have my own plane. Cause I already bought the domain. I don't need seed money, social funding. I'll break even in a month. No angels, no nothing. I have no business plan. I'm launching today. No need for A/B testing. I can tell you it's A. Monetize it, yeah, like I know it's better. I'll just acquire tons of users and I'll think about it later. Cause when you're sitting on a gold mine, you don't think survival and marketing. Forget it. This shit's gonna go viral. Talk to the band, tell them it's gonna rain. Take out the ice and pop the champagne. I'm gonna be rich, have my own plane. Cause I already bought the domain. Met with potential buyers, my ex said it stays away. I know they were interested cause they signed an NDA. I can't spell entrepreneur, but this idea's the bomb. I've done nothing yet, but I got the .com. Talk to the band, tell them it's gonna rain. Take out the ice and pop the champagne. I'm gonna be rich, have my own plane.
Already got the domain. So I guess this was new for some of you. So this one is dedicated to Amir Shvat. Amir, thank you so much for making all of this happen. All the launchpad and this fabulous week that we had here. So let's start talk web. But before starting talk about the web and what we are going to do with the domain that you already bought, a few words about me. So as Papo said, I'm a GDE Google Developer Expert for AngularJS, also lead the Tel Aviv Google Developer Group. I dance salsa and I teach people how to dance salsa, so if you are interested, we can have a class later. I teach web technologies in the Technion, which is like the Israeli MIT. Love building all kind of stuff, not only web applications, but also mobile applications, stuff with Arduino, crazy stuff with hard drive that I take off computers and stuff like that. And also, I contribute to open source and have created some open source modules on GitHub. You are invited to check them out. And something else, let's see. Eu falo pouco de português, mas só pouco. Então, sigamos. What are we going to talk about today? We are going to see we'll do it really quick, what's new in the web scene with some cool demos. Find ways to quickly prototype if you have new ideas and you want to build like a quick application to prototype them. We will see some good resources to help you doing that. And find out about the current tools that you can use to make your development more fun and more productive. And finally, we'll mention some cool free Google technologies you can use in your own products. So let's get started. Some quick history of the web. Ignore all the bullets, they are not interesting. Who knows which was the first web browser that still exists today? One of the browsers that exists today, that was the first. Netscape does not exist today, it's dead. But good guess, it really was one of the first ones. Opera, that's true. So if you go to floor 28 in this building, you will be able to see this cool chart that's showing how fast the web has been growing. So you can see here, Opera was indeed the first one. And all of those colorful snakes are actually features and the APIs. So you can see that in the beginning, there were no scripts and no APIs. It was only HTTP and HTML, and then we had HTML2, cookies, SSL, and things starting getting more interesting. Opera was indeed the first from those who still exist today, then shortly after Internet Explorer. And then we can see that it started growing, but there were almost no new features for a couple of years, many years. And then like in 2008, it started exploding with new browsers like Chrome, and then all the way new features all the time. And now we are like with 5 popular browsers and many features and many new version releases, as you can see with Chrome and Firefox and I think this one is Opera. So these are exciting times for the web. We are getting new features all the time, browsers are developing, and we are now going to look into some of those new features that we can play with. So let's just see what we have today. So the current technologies that power the web is JavaScript version 5, which was published in 2009, like almost 5 years ago, and is supported by all major browsers. Then CSS3 and HTML5, and they actually learned a lesson from previous standards, and they decided, instead of having one big standard that covers all, to break the standards into much more smaller pieces. They call this submodules. And we will see some of those today. Many of those submodules are already implemented in all the browsers and standards, so you can use them. And the most important point is browsers are now consistent. You can rely on the fact that JavaScript works the same in all browsers. Most standards, most APIs work very similar, if not same, on all browsers. And you can have a look at this chart, which showing how much progress CSS3 and HTML5 made. So this was the situation in 2008 when they started talking about CSS3 and HTML5. And now we can see that almost all of the modules of both are implemented in almost all of the browsers. You can start using those today if you don't already. So web laptops laptops and computers are going away. They are still staying with us for some times, but the new rising star is this guy, the mobile device. And the standards are catching up pretty rapidly. You can see that we already have geolocation and orientation APIs, which let us respond to device orientation, portrait or landscape. We have APIs to handle touch and gestures, camera and microphone APIs. And then we have an entire set of new APIs that were announced in Google I/O this year. Service workers APIs, which will give us support for offline web application. They basically let you change the behavior of the browser cache. There is a good talk from Google I/O about service workers, so I recommend watching it. Push notifications, background synchronizations. So we are starting to get all the stuff that native applications have also on the web platform. We will be able to send push notifications to the users who entered our web application, who uses our web application, and we'll be able to synchronize data in the background while the application is not running. So those are coming soon. I think they will land in, if they have not already, they will land in Chrome in the coming months, and you will be able to start using them. Also, we can see some of the coolest web APIs, in my opinion, are the Web Audio API. Have anybody used the Web Audio API? Not yet. What about WebRTC? Have anybody heard of it, WebRTC? Just one person. And WebGL? Oh, so most of you have not heard of any of those APIs. Web Audio API let us mix and apply effects to multiple audio sources in real time, so we can create music instruments, synthesizers, whatever we want on the web without any plugin. WebRTC is like Skype, but it's free, it's open, and it's on the web. You can create real-time video and audio conversations using this API, and it's already implemented in Chrome and in Firefox. So you can start experimenting with this today. There is also a native library for Android if you want to integrate it into your Android application. WebGL is like OpenGL for the web. It allows you to create 3D inside the web browser to interact with, to create 3D scenes, render 3D, and do all things graphics accelerated using your video card. So enough talking, let's see. First demo was built by Disney as a promotion to one of their movies. It's built entirely using those APIs, so let's hope that it loads fast. So first of all, you can see here in a moment. Let's take the standard version. So you will see here in a moment card, and this card is animated, and all the 3D stuff that you see here when I move the mouse is done totally only using CSS3 animations. So this is just an image with 2 divs in text that show the percentage, and all of the rotation and the 3D movement are actually just CSS animations. While it loads, let me open in another tab the second demo, just to make sure we are on time here. Oh, yeah, I definitely need a mirror for the second demo, but this one seems to come up. So, welcome to the Circus of Oz. So, let's enter the circus. This is done entirely in the browser, no plugin, no flash, only using WebGL. And let
100, volume 101.
Thank you.
101, 101, volume 101.
I think that something got rosy here.
Volume 101.
Well,
101.
let's mute the sound. It's a part of the experience, but we can also see how smooth is the WebGL experience even without the cool sound that we have here. We can even take, come here for the photo booth first. Let's make something funny inside the photo booth. So this is going to use the camera, the web camera API. It also works on mobile phones, the same API, and a mirror. Let's take a photo.
No, I was blinking.
Oh, you're blinking? Another one?
Another one.
Here is another one.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah. So this is an example of the camera API. Let's see if the audio is better.
94, 94. 100, 100.
Okay, so this is a demo of the Web Audio API. The music here is synthesized in real time, and I can edit the music. Let's try to create something more meaningful, like something sliding down and then going up. So what you see here is actually some kind of synthesizer they built using Web Audio. And let's play this one. So what you have seen so far, all the graphics, the audio, the animation, it is all done inside the browser. There are more cool things that you can see on this demo. You will have the link to this presentation at the end, so you can go at home and visit all of those websites and try them. Something more, another cool thing is this demo. Amir, my
Lovely assistant.
my lovely assistant. So what we are going to see here is done again entirely JavaScript in the browser. We are going to allow access to the camera using the camera API. And it's going to try to recognize Amir's face. Let's hope that the lighting here is good. And you can see this transformation is done in real time using JavaScript. The JavaScript code just gets the raw pixels of the image from the camera and does the transformation, the funny transformation. You are doing great, Amir. Oh my gosh. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, now it's gone mad because Amir went away. So yeah, what you were seeing is the camera API gave the JavaScript the array of pixels which it got from the camera in real time, and then the JavaScript code did the face recognition and the transformation of the pixels in the image, and then it drew that image into canvas. So it just web camera API, some JavaScript magic, and Canvas API. So this was a quick demo of what you can do today with the web. By the way, the face recognition library is open source, and you can get it from the Face Deformer link as well if you want to experiment with that. So that was a quick recap of where we are today, what we are capable of doing today. Some words about what is coming soon. So ECMAScript 6 is the new version of JavaScript. Fortunately, the standard is not finalized yet. It will be only ready in December this year. But you can already start to use it and experiment with it using a Tracer. Tracer is a compiler by Google that compiles ECMAScript 6 code to JavaScript of today's browser. ECMAScript 6 is just JavaScript with many new features such as promises, iterators, arrow functions, classes, modules. So JavaScript is getting really heavy language with classes, inheritance, module system, and many other cool things. So you should keep an eye on ECMAScript 6 because once it's out, browsers will start supporting it, and it will probably be the standard for the new JavaScript in about a year or two. And thanks to Tracer, you can already write production code, I do, in ECMAScript 6 and use it on today's browser. Web components, another new standard that is coming and is like a standard way to extend HTML and create new HTML elements. It has 4 parts. We are not going to get into it. There are some great talks about web components from Google I/O, so you're encouraged to see them. We'll mention web components near the end of the presentation again. So check out both ECMAScript 6 and web components. They are going to be, web components is already implemented in Chrome, and Firefox is quickly following up. So they are going to land here in about a year or two. They are going to be supported by all browsers probably. And you will need to know them whether you want or not. So it's better now than late. One last thing about existing web technologies. There are all of those websites which give you a list of technologies. You can select which technology you want, and they tell you which browsers support it. Just check it later at home. If you want to use web audio, you can easily find out that it's supported on Firefox, on Chrome, on Safari, but not on Internet Explorer. But then if you go to modern.ie, you can see if Microsoft is planning to add it in the future or not. So you have all the information you need to make the decisions about which APIs you can use in your code or not in those websites. So that was a quick recap of what the web is capable of today and what is coming soon. And let's have a quick overview of some cool tools that will help you to be more productive and create a better web application easier and faster. So how many of you have heard of AngularJS? Okay, that's cool. How many of you have used AngularJS? Okay, that's cool, but a little bit less. So let me try to open your think that it is really important. So what we are going to do now to open the developer tools is simply press F12. This opens this very nice window. Can you see the text, or should I make the font bigger? You can see it. Okay, perfect. Make it a little bigger anyway, because I don't see it. So we have several panels here. In the elements, we can see all the HTML code of the page. And we can use this tool to locate HTML code elements and change them. We can also change the text. For example, let's say that I want to say that my startup is the most popular project on GitHub. I can just change the text of the page. And voila. You see that my startup is actually the most popular project on GitHub. So, of course, those changes are not saved back to the server or something like this, so only I can see this. I can also do experiment with the CSS. For example, let's say that I want to I don't like jQuery, so I don't like you to see this jQuery box. So I just select this element, and then I can add a new CSS style, like display none to hide it. And it's gone. Or if I wanted to be more creative, I could add another CSS style, which is using still draft standard, the CSS filters API, the CSS filters module, WebKit filter. Just a moment. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, and now it's gone blur. I can also make it look very old, so you know not to use it. Yeah, so that's about the elements panel. You can play with the entire, all the elements on your page, change the CSS, see which CSS rules apply to each of the elements, and disable, enable, change them. So it's really good tool for prototyping stuff or for debugging and understanding why stuff on your HTML page works or looks the way it works. It's also good to, if you want to reverse engineer and understand what other people did in their website. So it's very good to, for learning. There is the network tab where you can see all of the network requests that go out of your web page and the loading time on this timeline. You can see the blue line, which represents the time when the document on load event was fired, and then this red line represents the time when the document completed loading and the user could see the document on the screen. So in this case, it took like 13 seconds for the document load to complete, which is not so good. I guess this is, oh, you can see why. There was this specific request to Google Analytics, which took like 9 seconds almost and delayed the load event. So yeah, Google Analytics doesn't work so good inside Google. No, it's just the Wi-Fi is slow probably. So do use the network tab to analyze the network connection and interactions of your web application. There is also a JavaScript debugger. You can have watch expression, breakpoints, and all of that stuff. And you can do many cool things. You can just run JavaScript expressions on inside the console. I think that the coolest thing about the developer tools is that you can use them with the cellular phone. You can use those developer tools the same way you use them on the computer to debug your web page inside the cellular device. I'm not going to show it right now because we are short on time, but I am going to give you the way to do this. All you have to do is to enable the developer options inside the settings of your Android phone and enable USB debugging. And then you go to this secret URL, chrome://inspect, and you need to check the Discover USB devices. Once you do this, your device will show up here in the list, and you will see all the web pages that you have currently open on your mobile device, and you will be able to debug them just with the same developer tools. So you will use the computer to interact with the developer tools, and you can change the HTML, the CSS, see the network connections, run JavaScript from your computer, from the same set of developer tools on your devices. So this is another piece of homework. Try this with your Android phone, if you have one. So if we had to take one thing from this presentation, to choose one thing which is the most important, this would be the thing. Use Chrome Web Developer Tools. They can help you to be much more productive, and debug your code and work much more efficiently, and also try the integration with the mobile device. It's really cool, and it really helps to understand what's going on here in this tiny device. A few words about some products that will help you to prototype rapidly. So Google Forms, I guess you have all used it. If you need just to incorporate a form into your application, Google Forms is a really quick solution to collect data. You can integrate it with spreadsheets, and with AppScript you can write scripts that will send you an email whenever a new form is submitted or perform any kind of other actions. So just for collecting data from users, use Google Form. You can see here a website from Google where they have, if it will load, okay, when you can click apply now, and when you apply now, it sends you to a Google form to collect information about your startup. So this is a Google form. We won't wait. Okay, it loaded. So do use Google Forms. Don't implement your own forms if you want to prototype something rapidly. Then there is Google Web Starter Kit. Just a package. You can download a zip file. It contains everything you need to get started. It's based on web fundamentals principles and on material design that was introduced in this year Google I/O. So just go to google.com Web Starter Kit, and you can download this nice zip file and start your project right off from their template. It's also mobile friendly and responsive and all of that stuff, and it also uses Sass, the better CSS syntax that we showed before. So Bootstrap, Sass, you get all of that out of the box. So download it. It has pretty good documentation. Download it and play with it at home. It's really good to prototype like websites. And one last thing we are going just to mention is Polymer. It's a new library coming from Google based on the Web Component standard. It has a set of elements called the paper element, which implement material design that we have just seen in this year's Google I/O. It has integrations built in for many APIs like Google Maps, Drive, and all of that. You just they just implement them as HTML tags. Of course, it's mobile first, and it supports IE10, modern browsers. Let's just finish with a quick demo of one of the of what the paper elements look like, and you get them all pretty quick and free when you use Polymer. So this one is my favorite. Remember Jacob's talk about the dancing and the animation? So let's see how we can make our checkboxes dance. So you can see it's like, wow. Yeah. So yeah, if you watch the lecture about the talk about Polymer and paper elements in particular from Google I/O, the guy there just says, I can just sit all day and do this just to enjoy this animation. So Polymer is, in my opinion, it's still not ready for the prime time. It's getting there. It will be ready in a few months, I guess. The paper elements are really nice addition. So keep your eye on Polymer. They have already started a new project called Polymer Designer, which is like kind of visual editor for Polymer elements. Once it lands, it will be a really cool way to quickly create web applications and also for prototyping using the Polymer Designer. When you watch this presentation at home, go to this demo, the second link here. It shows a really nice introduction to Polymer Designer and demonstrate how we can create very nice things in 5 minutes by just dragging and dropping components and building your interface, putting it together. So with that, I think we are out of time. So if you want a presentation, this is the URL with all the links and all the good things. And if you have questions, then ask me later.